Eruption is a deceptively bad perk, yet I'm seeing it pop up more and more in my survivor matches, and it seems like the glaring flaw with this perk is going by unnoticed, which is that it essentially doesn't work while playing against a survive with friends at all. Whereas at the same time, it completely obliterates solo queue players. This is because in a survive with friends, all you have to do is simply call out when the killer is about to down you, and the perk loses its strongest ability, which is the 25 seconds of incapacitated. Because everyone you're on comms with stops working on the gens for a second, they explode, lose the 10% progress, and then everyone goes straight back to repairing their generators. However, when you're playing solo queue, the gens explode, take 10% damage to every gen that's marked with eruption, and then nobody can do any actions for 25 seconds. No repairing, no healing, you can't even dead hard. Plus, this leads to really shitty situations where if you are incapacitated, you can't tell your injured teammates, so they have no idea why the hell you're not healing them. They're like, what's this asshole's problem? Also, there's basically no way to counter it in solo queue too, because you can't predict when your random teammates are going to go down unless you can literally see them being chased. Unlike Pain Resonance, there's no split second aura you can react to. The gens explode the moment the survivor is downed. This is what I believe has led to this very deceptive perception of how strong Eruption is. On the one hand, it seems like a god tier perk, but on the other hand, it's pretty much useless when you actually need it the most. Even a 3-man survive with friends is going to get hit with Eruption just because of one solo queue player being on their team. The more solo queue players, the better the perk is by an enormous margin. Eruption is not the only perk guilty of this either. Franklin's Demise, Monstrous Shrine, Knockout, Mad Grit, and Save the Best for Last are all guilty of this to some degree as well, but Eruption is by far the biggest offender of screwing over solo queue players, mostly because of just how ineffective it is against survive with friends. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not asking for the perk to be weaker or nerfed. I don't care if the perk is buffed. I just want it to be consistent. The only thing perks that shit on solo queue players achieve is making more survivors want to only play in a survive with friends. So maybe bump the regression up to 15% or 20% and just get rid of the hard counter that being on comms gives you. Now, I do think that some killers can get around this to some degree if they're highly unpredictable, mainly Nurse and Spirit. It's definitely a bit more difficult to call out when you're going to go down against those certain killers. Regardless though, I think it's just badly designed. It's a good idea for a perk, just unfortunately a bit short-sighted. So yes, even though Eruption can be a devastatingly strong perk, I just can't bring myself to use it. It kind of feels dirty because I know the value of the perk comes from playing against solo queue players, and using oppressive gen defense against solo players is kind of cringe. To be fair, the 10% regression isn't that bad on its own, but there's other perks that will give you more value against a survive with friends guaranteed. I hope Behavior takes another look at this perk. Right now it punches down way too hard, which is exceptionally bad considering, at least in my opinion, solo queue is at the worst it's ever been. Not to imply that it wasn't always terrible, but still, you get the idea. What do you guys think though? Am I missing something? Is there some 10,000 IQ way to avoid Eruption in solo queue? Let me know, and as always, thanks for watching and have a good one.